get it done early. Oh, I still have procrastination nightmares, Lily. I am that kid. When I'm stressed, I have this recurring dream that I waited too long and I procrastinated on an assignment, and the year goes on, and I just get further and further.
Yes.
You're in the wrong Zoom. You need to be in the executive session.
Okay.
You just called the census and you were in the wrong one.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, hey, hey. Do we have?
Hello.
Trying to make myself.
Sharon, FYI, when the meeting does start, I will have an amendment to the agenda. So,
Do I see Gloria? Okay, we're all set then. Are all, and is Paul with us?
not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Okay, roll call.
Well,
Ben. Oh,
I think we're still waiting on Paul.
We are live and streaming right now. So just
Okay.
want to let you all know.
Well, let's go ahead and get started. We want to thank everybody for your patience in the delay of the meeting while we were in an executive session. And we'll go ahead and get started at 3:43. If Gloria, if you would please do a roll call for us.
certainly. Ben. Oh. Marty.
I'm here.
Jim.
Present.
Kent.
Present.
Sharon.
Present.
Paul. And myself. So we have 5 present and 2 not.
All right, so we have 5 present. That gives us a quorum, and we will move forward with the meeting for today. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Sharon, I need to, in the third section, approval of minutes. Because we went back to the normal way of doing the claims approval on the claims of March 11th, were done by faxing it to you, and then you signed it and sent it back. We need to include item B, and Helen will have the language for this, but item B, minutes of the approval of the claims of March 11, 2021. So that's how it would usually read. The last few months, because of COVID and all, we've been able to just combine the approval of claims under section 5, but going back to the usual twice a month, we need to do that and have it included in the agenda and approved.
Okay. Thank you. I have that written down, but in case I
Yeah,
nervously breeze past it, please remind me.
absolutely.
Are there any other changes to the agenda? I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda with a modification.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Marty and a second by Jim to accept the agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Awesome. We will move on to the approval of minutes. And we have item A, which is the minutes for the regular session, February 25th, 2021. Are there any questions on the minutes that we received?
I make a motion for approval of those minutes.
Second.
All right, it's Kent and Marty. Was that your second? I'm sorry.
It was, yes.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to approve and a second on the minutes for regular session of February 25th. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. And anyone opposed? Awesome.
Sharon, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Should I state that there's 5 voting and 2 are abstain, or do I have to do any of that? On the vote? No? Okay.
I believe Helen is keeping track for us, but
Okay.
and if we were on the phone, I think we had to do a roll call vote, but since all 5 of us are here on the Zoom, we're okay with doing the
Thank you. Okay.
vocal vote that way.
Thank you.
Unless there's something that we run into, then we can do a roll call vote.
Okay.
All right. And we'll do the same for approval of minutes for the approval of the claims for March 11th, 2021.
Right. Mhm.
So moved. This is Marty.
Second. Jim.
We have a first and second. All those in favor of approving the claims for March 11th, 2021, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we're moving on this pretty fast, and that takes us to you, Dave, with the finance report.
All right, thank you, Sharon. Yep, in your packet are the reports, and really nothing out of the ordinary in spending. I mean, there are some lines like the snow removal landscape side of it that are high, but that's typically following its same pattern. So nothing new to report. You're seeing that the capital spending is going up and higher than usual, and that's directly tied to the Roland Center construction and things like that. Plus, a lot of the carryover projects from last year that were originally part of that bond request that are now being completed, like a large one was $137,000 chiller repair to the main library and some of the other ones. So those are picking up. Then, you know, I sent the memo out, or the treasurer's report and the board packet. Friday afternoon, I get a notice from State Board of Accounts. You know, and I'm just noting in the thing that, oh, well, they don't know when they're going to start. No, they're going to be starting soon. In fact, it's interesting because this is only the second time this has happened where the board, or the state board, as I was indicating in the report, are so far behind on some of those audits, a lot of their audits, that they are outsourcing our audit to Crow LLC, a local, not local, but a CPA firm. So they're going to be doing the audit for us. And I've been contacted by them already. Not sure, you know, as I looked at what will that impact us, not real sure. In one sense, the learning curve may be a little longer because they may not be familiar with our operations like the state board would be. But at the same time, you know, the private CPA firms work pretty diligently and get things done. So I'm glad, because it will likely not then lead to any delays for us on that June 30th deadline of having it ready for the submission to GFOA and our annual financial report for, you know, grading for excellence. So that was good news from them. I'm not going to talk, I mentioned the second bullet point, the facility master plan, but I know Marty will be given a report later on that and all, but we're moving ahead with a lot of the projects that were, like I said, on the prior one, and those will all be you know, calculated in when we do that master plan too. So really, you know, don't want to take up too much time, but I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have at this point.
Dave, can you just kind of maybe give a brief, how did our numbers fare out with COVID impact? What do you know, the collection amounts?
Actually, we're pretty good. I mean, I think, like I mentioned last year, our obviously we will know more because we had already anticipated income tax impacts will hit in the 2023 side, because the income tax coming in this year is all from 2019 numbers. Mm-hmm. Property tax, though, collections were very, you know, dead on. Whoops. I think I just, there I am. Sorry, my screen went out on the idle. Anyway, property taxes were dead on. In fact, we didn't lose very much at all other than the usual, you know, property tax cap figures. So I'm very hopeful, because our financials, if you looked at the end of the year, we added quite a good sum to our fund balance, which is going to, you know, end up being used in any of the projects we might use. And right now, I think we came through pretty strong. Like I think I mentioned the last one, even some of the statewide reports, Larry DeBoer's, you know, video, or the seminar he put on, indicates that the state as a whole, because of the ties to manufacturing that Indiana has still, we're a state that makes things, and we're not a state that tends to rely on tourism and services and things like that. We are, according to the budget estimates from the state, we will end up at the end of 2021. They will end up at the end of 2020 at the same fund balance, the same level of budget as they were in 19. So 20 would have been a blip, but it's coming back very strong. So hopefully those numbers hold true from a statewide basis, which is a good indicator for all the local side too. But obviously the next trip will be in May. We'll start getting the budget workshops put on by DLGF and State Board of Accounts. those will be some ones that'll have, more indicators on what some of those estimates for 2023 will be, especially with the income tax side.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Thank you.
sure.
Any other questions for Dave? Alan, Kent?
I just had one comment in looking at the finance report too, and just remind the rest of the board that included in that finance report is the list of capital projects that we're currently taking on. And it's nice to see the progress that's happening there. And I just think it's important to say in the meeting that, to Dave's point just now, the lean efficiency of the operations of the library are allowing us to take care of those maintenance items and stuff as we go. And so I know there's going to be a lot of conversation this year around capital. We've already had, that brought up several times with our chair, Marty, given reports and things. But on that end, I just think, everybody needs to be aware that's listening, out in the public that, that's our goal, is to continue doing that work. So that way, when the bonding opportunity potentially comes along here for other buildings and things along those lines, there'll be a lesser amount that we have to bond. And I just think that's really important for taxpayers to realize the efficiencies of that side. But mostly to say, I'm glad to see all that progressing and continuing, and those projects are looking like we're getting off to a good start here in the year. So
awesome. I will entertain a motion to accept the finance report.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone
Okay.
opposed? All right. Thank you. How about the approval of claims?
Yes, earlier today, Jill should have emailed you the claims for today, and along with the high dollar amount. You can see what I was talking about earlier. The two top items are related to the Roland Center project. The CME Corporation and the Design Collaborative are the architects for that. So other than that, they're all, either utilities or, and, to your, and you can see Signature Lawns are doing the snow removal and the lawn scheme. So that was one of the high dollar ones for February that, was a rather expensive month for snow removal here, but hopefully we don't have those anymore. So anyway, those are the high dollars for today, but other than that, nothing else to report on those.
Any questions for Dave on the claims?
I just had one procedural question. Dave, do we have to sign that again? I did and send it back.
No.
I didn't have to, right? We
No.
Okay.
Yep, you're fine. Because Helen's recording the votes too here also.
Okay. All right. I move that we approve the claims register as provided to us.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion by Marty and a second by Jim and Gloria. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone in opposition? Awesome. All right, that brings us to item number 6 on our agenda, and that's the discussion of nominations and appointments to the Library Building Corporation. So we're here again. How is that going? Does anyone have a nomination?
Yes, I do have a nomination, Sharon.
Okay.
And it would be Mr. Tim Gosheff. That's Gosheff. And I don't have my information in front of me, so if David could help me, have you written it? He works with IDEMIA, and okay.
Let me just pull up your email on that and see if I can find it. No, I don't want to look at Helen's. I want to look at Gloria's. Well, needless to say, never works when you want it to.
It never does, and the pressure is on too, right?
Yeah,
All
of course.
eyes are on you.
I know. It's like, go on.
That's okay. Should I?
Gloria, is this the gentleman that you were going to recommend before?
I was.
Okay.
Before, one turned me down, unfortunately, and I went to this young man who I've known since his birth. So he's in his 40s and is very much involved in community affairs also. And I think it's IDEMIA, and it's with some security and integrity, something like that. And he works in that division of that particular company. And when I approached him, he never even hesitated. He said he'd be glad to do that. So he is community involved. He also has 2 children, one in college and one graduating this year that will be attending college.
Okay. All right.
I can vouch for his integrity.
And you remembered it perfectly because I pulled
Did
up
I?
the email now. It's like, remember, that he works for IDEMIA in the Identity and Security Division.
Okay.
Again,
Okay.
is involved in.
All right. Are there any other nominations?
I have a question for Gloria. Is he related to Dom?
Yes, he is.
Is that his brother or cousin or?
Dom would be his cousin.
Okay,
Is that Attorney Dom?
that's
Mhm.
Attorney Dom Goshen,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
My favorite name.
You have several Goshefs around.
All right, so we have one nomination that has been put in front of us, board, to fill a seat that we've been attempting to fill for the last several meetings. So are there any other questions before we take a vote on that? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of appointing Ken Goshef to the Library Building Corporation, please signify by saying aye.
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 Do we have a motion?
We didn't do a motion.
Yeah, we need a motion and a second on that, Sharon.
Can we get a motion? Will somebody give me a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Is there
I'll
a second?
second. Marty, I'll second.
All right, now we can do that. All those that are in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any oppositions? All right, there we go. Would you let Ken know that he has a new obligation to the library?
Yeah, in fact, Pete and I had talked about this. We were waiting for the official nomination and the appointment. And so we're going to reach out to him. As you may recall, the Building Corp usually meets in May with their annual meeting. And so we're going to reach out and meet with him beforehand just to have some discussions about what's involved and the process. So we'll be touching base with him.
Is there a swearing in for that? Does he need to be sworn in?
No.
All right, committee reports. And the only one I see on here, and you guys help me if I miss one, because I know Ben knows these by heart a lot, is the capital project, which is Marty.
Yep, I definitely have a report. I'm not sure if there's anybody on the other committee does or not. We'll just update everybody where we are. We do need action today from the board in the form of a motion here. But the capital projects committee, subcommittee here is myself, Kent, and Ben. As I told you before, we had the interview process. We had the proposal process, which got us in 14 proposals. We narrowed it down to 4 interviews. I think most of the people on those interviews are here on this meeting today. As we went through it, I was on those as well and met with all 4 through Zoom calls of all 4 of the proposals, lead of the proposals. Ultimately, we did come to a decision. The committee met after our last board meeting, talked through some of the issues that we shared the proposals, I believe, with Kent and Ben as well. And Kent, I believe if we have a unanimous recommendation that we go forward with the proposal that was provided to us by Boswick Design Partnership. They are very well versed in providing planning that we're looking for. They are based out of Cleveland. They have a couple of people they are partnering with who I think Kim can describe better than I can, probably Susan and Denise can too, but apparently are people that are very well versed in this area. And I think we can feel very comfortable moving forward with them to continue with our discussion and planning for the community. It would include, as we discussed last time, community and staff engagement to begin. It would be their review of the documents we've already had prepared for the library over the last several years. And this is really the culmination of that, to put it all together. The actual capital improvement and building projects will be later down the road to the extent after we really hear from what our community needs and wants. I'm sure we all have our own ideas, but I think the community engagement part is very important, and the staff engagement part is very important as well in this. So timeline, I'm going to let Kim describe that a little bit. And also we can answer questions. I will tell you that right now the cost that we have outlined in the contract is $154,110. That does include expenses that are expected of about $8,500. There's some expanded work that can be done, which is estimated right now at $76,450. The committee met. Some of that we thought might be useful. Some of it may not be. But the day after we answer your questions, be looking for a motion to authorize Susan to move forward, sign the contract, and get this started. Kim, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know the timeline again, and then we can start answering any questions.
Thanks, Marty. As soon as we have a contract in place, we can pretty much jump right into our kickoff meeting. And the first piece will be as soon as we can gather everyone and get our ducks in a row, we'll launch right into a plan for the community engagement process. So that'll be key. And hopefully starting, as I said, as soon as we have a signed contract. And then from there, the consultants will put the start doing some data gathering in conjunction, and then start making recommendations. And because of our timelines a little bit extended right now, we were shooting for summer, but I think the capital projects committee agreed, and Marty, you can clarify, but that we might extend about maybe a month overdue, which could put us into the end of summer, 1st of September, possibly, for finalizing things.
All right, thank you, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody else on either the committee or just the people who did the interviews want to make any comments? Or if not, we can just.
I'll just say that in reviewing the proposals, it was a good opportunity to review the proposals, going through to understand just the differences between them all and the thoroughness. I think that was the big piece for us. And looking at this, that Bostwick was very comprehensive and inclusive of a lot of what was discussed in the scope of work document that was presented. And so I think we're just excited to keep it moving on that end of it, and everything seemed in line on that end. So I'm like Kim and everybody else, I'm just excited to get moving on it. So
Marty, can you answer for me? The numbers you provided, 154, 110, 85, are those all the same proposal with different a la carte pieces, or are those three different?
Okay, I'm sorry. For the proposal for the cost of services that we provided, we gave them a list of services we wanted done.
Mm-hmm.
And that number came out to their services. Their fee would be $154,110.
That's their fee?
Right. Then there would also be a reimbursable expenses allowance of $8,500. That may or may not come into play depending on, frankly, how often we want them here in person versus by doing it by Zoom.
Sure.
Kind of factors like that. But the max right there is $8,500. The other part is really enhanced services that maybe went above and beyond what we thought, what we asked for, but what they thought we might want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's broken down into, looks like 7 different categories, which totaled $76,450.
Okay, so max we would be looking at about $216K.
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, if we take
all of the enhanced, frankly, we probably wouldn't take all of it, but that would be the maximum. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I think just on that point, this was kind of in the mid-range, I would say, of the proposals. There were a few that were significantly higher. There were a couple that were significantly lower that did not make the interview process. But I would say within the range of the the quotes we got, this was well within the range of the ones we were seriously considering.
So Marty, I've got a quick question. You know, the plan or whatever you want to call it that we saw probably 2 years ago, I think. Is that useful for them, or are they going to have to kind of start from scratch? Or
No, they actually, all four of the people we talked to found it very useful.
oh, good.
They shared with all of them by Kim. I think it was like that plan, facility dude, the demographics plan, and I think there was 3 total. I forget what the other one was. But no, we shared that with everybody, I believe, before we even
Great.
the proposal.
Yeah.
And they all specifically talked about that was really just, they would have cost a fair amount more. That was something they can really build on and use.
Yeah, I remember that being pretty comprehensive, so I'm glad
Yeah.
that it was useful.
Yeah.
So Marty, did you say you needed a motion?
I believe we need a motion, or Pete can tell me for sure, but I think we need a motion for approval for Susan to sign and enter into this contract on behalf of the library.
Yeah, you can couch it in terms of a contract to be negotiated and finalized after review by council and authorizing Susan to sign.
And just so you know, we do have their contract as part of what we asked for, and we have that already. I'm an attorney, but not the attorney for the board, but I've reviewed it, and I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue there for Pete when he goes through it.
Can we have a motion, or is there more discussion?
I would move for approval.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion, a move for approval to give authority for Susan to sign a contract and according to the council's work that they've presented, right? And we have a first and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, thank you, Marty, for the work you guys are doing. That's a lot, I know, so I appreciate that. Are there any other committee reports? I know there's none listed, but I don't want to step on anybody's feet. If not, we will move right on to number 8, which is our director's report. Hi, Susan.
Hello, everyone. It's so thrilling to be here for my first board meeting with you.
Right.
You know, about a month ago when we were all under Snowmageddon and my movers told me they couldn't come get me, I was worried that I'd ever get to Fort Wayne, and here we are together virtually. So I'm just thrilled to be here. I submitted a written director's report, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but I just wanted to take an opportunity to give just the biggest and most sincere thanks to all of you as trustees, to our senior staff, to our entire staff, and to our community for just such a warm and generous and thoughtful welcome. I feel very well supported, and the love for the library in this community is palpable. I am just so grateful for the amount of time and care and consideration the team put into my orientation and transition. It's been just so well thought out, and I am so full of gratitude. I'm also very full of DeBranch chocolate. I appreciate. And it's just been a wonderful experience, and I'm just so honored and thrilled to be your library director.
Awesome.
So what's your chocolate of choice from DeBrands?
I am a fan. I believe there's a peanut butter and jelly chocolate.
Is a chocolate or a truffle? Yeah.
Yes, that I've enjoyed. And I sent a huge gift basket of it to my previous library in Kentucky, and they were blown away. So I've converted new DeBrands fans in Kentucky.
They do ship, so that's good.
They do.
Are there any questions for Susan on her director's report?
I will just, I'll just ask Susan. Susan, I think you told us you've had a chance to go and look at all the branches.
Yeah.
Point, correct? Good. So you've had an opportunity to meet with all employees and staff and some of our patrons out there as well.
Yes, I absolutely have. And I was at, I believe it was Little Turtle, and a patron looked up from the newspaper and said, "Wait a minute, I recognize you. You're the new library director," which I loved.
That's cool.
Very good.
Cool. Well, welcome to Fort Wayne, and be careful with the brands because it's not that far from where you guys are located. So
No.
just pace yourself. Or at least walk while you chew, right? Walk.
Right.
Let's move on to new business.
And I did have some items to discuss for new business, but shall I go ahead and go forth with those, or is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
I don't have any new business, so we can go ahead and go with yours.
Okay, great. Well, our first item that I wanted to bring up for discussion is what the board's preference was on meetings going forward. So we do have the large meeting room on the first floor booked if you would like to return to an in-person meeting. So it is ample space to allow for social distancing for the board and staff and any members of the public. That is available to you, or you can continue via Zoom. It's up to you. I did talk to Ben about it because, Ben isn't here this evening. And Ben did say that as long as proper COVID protocols were followed, he would be comfortable returning in person starting next month.
Well, I'm just going to say that if we don't return in person soon, I'm going to be very, 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 very frustrated. Time to live life again.
I just love my cubby hole, Paul. What's wrong with that? I just love it, Paul.
I think I would agree. Back in person would be good, largely because of Paul's comments in the last meeting that, every day we expect our staff to be present, be safe with the public, and I think that is the next good step for us as well. So I would love to see us return next month back to in person.
Well, I would say I've been very cautious, and I've been fine with doing Zoom up until now. But if we're all going to go back, I will be back in person next month as well. I could see waiting another 2 months, but it's either next month or the next, or either we're going to do it in April or May. So I'm fine moving forward in April.
Well, I had taken the additional step when I talked to Susan, and not only wanted to get back with the meetings at the library, but also extend them to when we used to go out and visit the branches. And I know that's she said she'd look into it.
I'm delighted to be able to come in person.
Gloria, don't leave me out here by myself.
That's okay. I just need to be around some people that I just really respect, and I just want to be there. And I just like being in the library.
No, I'm not afraid to come in person either. It's my own personal employment reasons that made Zoom beneficial for me. So, I mean, if I can come in person, I will. But Paul and I have seen each other in person multiple times. So it won't kill me to be there. And I get my second shot in April, so I'm all right.
Awesome.
I get my first one in April, but from that too, I just a reminder though that we will continue streaming this for the public. So even though our meeting will be in person, Access TV will be there to cover that, and it'll still stream for those in the public to be able to watch it. So that digital component continues on that end of it. So that's positive.
Well, great. Well, I think it's been decided. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll get to see our smiling faces face to face next month, Susan.
I'm very excited about that.
All right. Is there any other new business?
There is. We sent out a proposal last night, and I hope you had a chance to review it. It's a proposal that we're very excited about regarding operating hours. We had a subgroup of senior staff. It was Denise and Kurt and Kim B, and I thank them for their work. They put their heads together to review historic operating hours and staffing levels to determine what made sense for us going forward through September. And what we are recommending is that the library maintain our current operating hours, but we do not suspend Saturday hours come this summer. So typically in the summer, 5 of our locations would be open on Saturdays in the summer and the others would be closed. And it's been a goal of ours to bring summer hours back system-wide, with summer being the home of one of our flagship programs, the Summer Learning Program. We want to make sure that we allow families every opportunity possible to participate in our Summer Learning Program. And for most working families, that would mean coming to the library on Saturday. So we are proposing that, again, we keep our current hours through September 4th, with the exception that come Saturdays in the summer, all of our locations would be open. And this recommendation aligns our operating hours more consistently across the system, which makes it easier for patrons to remember. It provides evening weekday hours in 4 of our locations and brings the Saturday hours this summer. And the hours are within state certification requirements. And the proposal listed the hours for each location. Does anybody have any questions about this or any comments?
I'm excited.
I'm sorry, Ken, go ahead.
Oh, it wasn't me.
It was me.
Okay, sorry, Gloria.
I'm thrilled about the Saturday hours. I do think it's a great time when families can get together and use the services that are there for our young children and for those who are in middle school and high school and college. I just love it. And then for the neighborhoods that those libraries are located, I think it would be good for them.
Can you, for the watching public, clarify what the hours would be?
Absolutely. So for the main library, it would be Monday through Thursday, 10 to 8, Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 6, and Sunday, noon to 5. For Beloit, DuPont, and Georgetown, it would be Monday through Thursday, 10 to 8, Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturday, 10 to 6. And for Grable, Hessen Castle, Little Turtle, New Haven, Pontiac, Shawnee, Tecumseh, and Waynedale, it would be Monday through Thursday, 10 to 6, Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturday, 10 to 6. And for Monroeville and Woodburn, it would be Monday through Thursday, 10 to 1, and then 2 to 6, and then Friday, 10 to 1, and 2 to 6, and then Saturday, 10 to 2. And we are recommending those hours start immediately and go through September 4th. And we would use these next few weeks and months to evaluate the use of the library during those hours, to look at some staffing models, to make a determination for what hours might look like in September 2021 going forward.
Okay, thank you. Board?
Well, I as well am elated, and I would like to put forth a motion to accept the hours as presented.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? We have a first and a second. Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of the modified hours, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, it's been passed.
That's a great initial move, Susan. First month in, that's awesome.
Well, I have to give credit to our amazing team who put this plan together. This was in place well before I got here. I'd love to take all the credit, but I can't. So, but what a gift and what a win for the community. Really exciting. Thank you so much. I did have another item for discussion, and we sent out a proposal last night. So I'm sure you're aware that our governor had a press conference on Tuesday and made some announcements regarding the public's emergency safety ordinance and the mask ordinance. And we needed to look at what our policies were in relation to that and see if we needed to make any adjustments. So the governor did say that effective April 6th, mask would be advisory and not mandatory. also extended the public health emergency through April 30th. So what we are asking you to consider is to, here at ACPL, to continue our mask requirement for patrons through April 30th, 2021, or until the executive order regarding the public health emergency ends. We also are asking to make an adjustment to our mask policy to now exempt children under 8 from wearing masks. Currently, children 3 and above are asked to wear masks. We are asking to change that to make it in accordance with the mask ordinance that was set forth by the governor, and also to respond to some concerns we've had from patrons about their children, their young children wearing masks. And we do currently offer a medical exemption for anyone upon request who are physically unable to wear a mask.
Well, I'll chime in, I guess, on that.
No, Paul, I don't think you have anything to add. Why did I know you would be first? Go ahead, Paul.
Sorry. Well, for me, and I understand the governor's order and I understand your request. Individual businesses are doing the same thing, trying to figure out whether they should continue to have people masked and all that. And I firmly believe that masks work. There's no question about that. It's one reason that haven't seen much flu season at our hospitals this year as well. And so there's no question about that. But I also firmly believe in personal responsibility. And I think we're always dumbing down in that regard with mandating things like this. And, it's a stretch sometimes in the world today to assume people are going to take personal responsibility and do the right thing. So, I have to lean towards that. I'd rather not extend it to April 30th. I'll probably get outvoted, but I won't kick and scream. But that's my 2 cents.
Just to be clear, Paul, you're saying you'd rather not extend the mask?
I prefer not to mandate them until the 30th.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, it ends on the 6th. And then so that period between the 6th and the 30th, or even beyond, actually, businesses can do what they want. And I'm kind of tying us into the business world right now.
I feel very comfortable with the April 30th only because spring break is coming. I'd like to see what happens after spring break.
That's a valid point. Yeah.
That's a valid point, but I guess, as everybody said, I've been more cautious. I understand Paul's thinking. I certainly am looking forward to when it's not necessary anymore. But I would go with the staff's recommendation, mandatory on all respects. I think I was been one more cautious where I said, no, let's just mandatory and let's keep it at 2 and above or 3 and above. And I'm fine with changing a date. I'm fine with extending it to April 30th. We'll see where we are at that point. By that point, I frankly would think probably I'd like to go through the end of May, but I understand there's maybe opposition to that. I'm definitely in favor of doing it through the end of April.
Marty, I think you make a really good point because all we can do is make the best decisions we can with the information we have at the time. And as we well know, the information changes and changes quickly. So next month we could be having another discussion, but senior staff met and felt this was the most prudent thing going forward now. It also gives our staff more time to get vaccinated, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I want to make sure as we're approaching all this that we're aligning with what the standards are. And my concern is that by extending this through the end of April, that it just causes confusion. And I feel that we need to align with the governor on that. Obviously, that's through consultation with the Indiana Department of Health that they've made these choices. Now, if our local Allen County Department of Health does something different locally, then we obviously have to follow that. But I mean, I would love to see us not add confusion to the public. I just would love to see us align with whatever the governor comes out with, and we align well with that. The other piece, I guess, for clarification, Susan, as I heard you read that again, I believe you stated April 30th or whenever the governor declares the public health pandemic ended. I think that's a little slippery slope for us here, because then that says that we are just extending as long as that extends, when that really has nothing to do with the mask mandate. So that's my concern with the confusion on all this. So I'm inclined right now to not support it the way it's written, to extend it, because I really think it needs to align so there's less confusion with the public. And if the governor had called us out like he did for government buildings and schools, it would be different. But, you know, we're not, I mean, from that standpoint. And so I just want to be as clear as possible. And I just don't want our staff to have to encounter what they might encounter on that end of it. So that's just my thoughts as to add to the conversation.
So I think for me, a lot of people have become accustomed to wearing the mask in the library. If we get them not wearing them, then if we have to go back the other way, we may run into the problem that we had at the onset with people having to wear them. So I guess I'm kind of on the fence, because the only thing that I caution us is our a la carte picking on which ones we want to adhere to based on the governor's recommendation, and the ones that we don't want to adhere to based on the government's recommendation. So we have to be careful with our a la carte picking of what we do like, we don't like. I also kind of lean to what Kent's saying with lining up with the CDC, the governor, or the Allen County Board of Health, just picking one of them and line up with, so that we make sure we're doing what our partners around us are doing. So I still have to hear everybody to determine which way I would go on that.
Well, again,
we
I'm not
know?
suggesting we don't allow people to wear masks.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
We put a sign up encouraging people to wear masks. It's the mandating part that concerns me. Susan, do you happen to know, I don't know if you follow this or not. We do, obviously, in the healthcare industry, but what percentage of employees have been vaccinated? Do you track that at all?
We do not track that to my knowledge.
Yeah, I wouldn't really expect you to, unless you did it kind of on a, well, you know, like a Swiss or something like that, but I'm just curious. I will tell
We
you.
happen to know if there is a difference between what the governor's mandate is versus the county's?
County has not responded on that yet.
All right. So in that case, we really can't go in with
Do you mean the
I mean,
county?
if they haven't responded yet. So.
Let's clarify. Are you meaning the county health department or the county government?
County health department.
I think it's still on their website.
Yeah, the health department, basically the governor has ceded the power to the counties after April 6th to come up with their own plan. I suspect they'll probably follow. I mean, the numbers are all out there in terms of hospitalizations and all that. It's very easy to understand and follow that. Unless that changes, I'd be real surprised that they don't, you know, do what the governor's doing and letting individual businesses and others either encourage or mandate masks.
And maybe, Ken, maybe I misunderstood. Did you say that government buildings will still require masks, or that through April 30th, or to what date? Or indefinitely?
It's my understanding that that continues, the mask mandate continues after April 6th. Correct me on that though, Sharon.
That's my understanding too, for government, state buildings.
And Paul.
Okay, well, I guess I feel like we should follow that until that changes. I would prefer we keep it till April 30th for now and mandate it.
I'm more of the opinion that we continue with the governor's, to go along with the governor's statement until 30th.
Is that a motion?
No, that was just giving my.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm sorry, I was trying to quickly read the Allen County department's website, it does say that they're going to, in response to the governor's COVID-19 cases, he issued an executive order for requiring face coverings, but it doesn't say which way they're going to lean. And I was trying to see if inside of there would be any answer. So we can do with whatever you guys want to motion forward on.
At this point, I'll make the motion that we just follow what the staff has recommended. We need to have a meeting before, I mean, when's our next meeting? Is it April? What day is our next board meeting?
Let me look.
April 22nd.
April
Okay.
22nd.
All right, I guess I just feel comfortable extending it as the staff has recommended. We'll meet back on the 22nd. We'll have more, we'll have the Allen County, we'll have the government. See where we are at that point. So my motion is to adopt the CPL plan as presented to us by the staff, in which they emailed to us last night.
I agree with that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further questions? I think the only thing I'd like to make a friendly amendment, and that's on the part that it says where you read, Susan, or further. I'd like to scratch that verbiage and just take it to the 31st. Can I make a friendly amendment to your motion, Marty?
Sure. Is that under the face mask or covering language, or until, where it says or until executive order is modified? Or social, I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, until the executive order is modified to that portion. Right?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I would accept that if Gloria will.
Yes, I will.
All right. So we have a motion to accept the mask mandate as the staff has presented with one modification. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Or two.
Right. We have 4 ayes, I believe, and 2 opposed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Is there any other new business?
Not for me.
Do you have any comments from the public?
Is that the part that we just tell people they can send us an email? I forget how we know what we're doing. Denise, can you remind us?
That's correct. So.
All right, seeing no comments from the public, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we will see you all next month. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you,
Good
Susan.
night.